Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over some Pokemon that I feel have just been left out from the TCG. And what I mean by that is Pokemon that have been left out in terms of an alternate art version, an illustration rare version, or a special illustration rare version. And I'll get into it in just a second, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you want to become a channel member, that would be greatly appreciated. You can join up from the home screen. When you are a member, you can ask me any investing related questions via email and I'll get back to you in a timely manner. Anyway, on to the topic at hand. I suppose to summarize more broadly is there are some Pokemon that I feel that are really popular Pokemon that have just been left out. They don't have an alternate art version yet. They don't even have an illustration rare, let alone a special illustration rare version. And I feel it could have just made sets better if they had one. Now, I suppose to summarize the whole premise around this is there's no argument that Scarlet and Violet's first probably 6 sets have been a stronger 6 sets than Sword and Shields. There's no argument there. There's also no argument that Scarlet and Violet hasn't brought us incredible artwork, because it has. But there's maybe a slight argument that Scarlet and Violet hasn't brought us the banger chase cards yet. Okay, there's some damn good ones. And the first, I suppose, real banger is the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. It is driving people to that set. It is the one that, people want to see open. It's the chase card that people want to pull. But there's just a little bit left lacking, isn't there? I mean, there's, the Charizard and Mew from Paldean Fates, which command a pretty decent price. There's the Charizard from 151. The Magikarp commands an okay price from Paldea Evolved. But other than that, we left this era where we had sets like Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest with its Lugia, even Astral Radiance with its Machamp, Brilliant Stars with an old art Charizard. We just left this era of so many banger chase cards, which were well north of $100 in raw form. And we just don't seem to have that so far in Scarlet and Violet. And I feel like maybe that's the missing piece that people are waiting for. And, here's an example. I'm going to go through some Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and Gen 4 Pokemon. And yes, maybe it's my era, maybe it's my vintage that I'm suggesting these should have been used more frivolously, used more often throughout the Scarlet and Violet era to really improve the sets. So here's some Gen 1 Pokemon that I just feel have been left out. The first one being Gyarados. Gyarados was that fan favorite Pokemon from Gen 1. It was one of the dragon types. And if you're a boy, that was the one you wanted to get. Now, when you're playing the Game Boy games, he was hard to get because, first of all, you had to go fishing and catch a Magikarp. Then you had to wait till later in the game to get some experience share and attach it to him so he could gain experience, because you couldn't battle with him because he was too weak. Or you left him with, was it Pokemon Breeder? You left him with Pokemon Breeder, and then for every step you take, he gains experience. And then you got a Gyarados out of it. And it was cool because, you could have all the water-based moves. There was even some dragon-based moves that you could teach him as well. So I just feel like he's such a fan favorite Pokemon, and he hasn't had an illustration rare or a special illustration rare yet. And he could have been used in countless sets, in my opinion. He probably could have been used in Evolving Skies even. Then look, that was so heavily loaded it didn't need him. But more importantly, I think he could have been used in Paldea Evolved. If we had an illustration rare Magikarp, why didn't we get a special illustration rare Gyarados? Now, that would have sent that set into absolute oblivion, because obviously the number one chase card is that Magikarp, and it's got Gyarados chilling on the top. What if we had a Gyarados version of that artwork in a special illustration rare with texture, and maybe Magikarp's placed somewhere into the picture as well, just to, coincide with each other and top it off? The second one I feel that's been missing from Gen 1, Kabutops. He gets a Shining version in Neo era, yet we haven't seen an alt art. We haven't even seen an illustration rare, let alone a special illustration rare of Kabutops. Like, he could have been used in Lost Origin alongside Aerodactyl and Giratina. He could have been used in probably Paradox Rift as well as an ancient type Pokemon. Like, I don't know, have they missed a trick, with these fan favorite Pokemon? And another one, this one's probably more related to the anime than being a fan favorite Pokemon, but maybe something like Magmar could have been used. He had that epic battle with Charizard in the volcano. There is some nostalgia attached to that Pokemon, and I don't know, I just feel like he's been missed out as well. What set could he have been in? Maybe he could have been a special illustration rare in Obsidian Flames. We all know, arguably, how weak that set is. Its top 10 value, its total set value is super low. The pull rates are probably a little bit easy. The Ninetales is beautiful inside it, but Maybe Magmar could have been used in Obsidian and Flames just to bolster it a little bit. Gen 2 Pokemon, where's Ho-Oh? Lugia gets all the love, but where's Ho-Oh? You know, that could have been used in, again, countless sets. It could have been in Silver Tempest. What if we had 2 chase cards in Silver Tempest? Because really it's like it's the Lugia or nothing. Silver Tempest is an okay set, but it's really just bolstered up by Lugia. What if we had Lugia and Ho-Oh as chase cards inside Silver Tempest? Another one I feel from Gen 2, and only because I used to love the EX era, and I used to always pull Skarmory EX for some reason. So I feel like Skarmory maybe has missed out a little bit as well from Gen 2. That could have been used maybe in, you know, maybe the same thing. It could have been used in Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces or something along those lines as an IR or an SIR just to bolster the setup a little bit. And finally, Gen 2, where's the starter evolutions? Where's Typhlosion? Where's Meganium, and where's Feraligatr? I mean, Typhlosion, even in Hisuian version, why didn't it get used in Astral Radiance? Like, it was all over the box art with the V version. Why not an alternate art version of Typhlosion in Astral Radiance? Like, it's missed out there, hasn't it? I don't know. Surely. What about Feraligatr? Like, how cool have we seen some of the artworks of Feraligatr over the years? Like, remember that, what set was it out of? It was Expedition Base, wasn't it? Both Blastoise and Feraligatr got that really cool artwork where it's, you know, half underwater and half, you know, with its nostrils above the water as a, you know, really looking like a crocodile, I guess. You know, where's an alternate art version of that? It could have been in something like Battle Styles, for argument's sake. Gen 3, just a couple that I think we've had missing. Kyogre. Okay, we got the Groudon in, what's that in? Not Temporal Forces. Paradox Rift, isn't it? Paradox Rift has the Groudon? Yeah, I'm sure it does. Anyway, it could have been used in something like that, or even if it was in Paradox Rift with Groudon, Temporal Forces maybe could have put the Kyogre in there as a bit of an offset because we know they're, you know, and even Rayquaza, like that got missed from one of those sets, I feel, as well as a SIR version. So I suppose we have had, when was the last, was it Team Aqua's Kyogre? That was a really cool artwork. That was XY era, wasn't it? Yeah, as a specialty set. But anyway, would you call that an alternate art? Sort of. I suppose it was more a special rare or a special art. But anyway, it could have been used in one of those sets to bolster it up. Another one which I used to love from Gen 3 was Aggron. Like, what do we got the Aeron or Lairon as a illustration rare in one of the sets. But again, why didn't we continue that evolution chain on with the big dog, the big boy, Aggron? I used to love using him in the Gen 3 games. So that could have bolstered some sets up as well. And Gen 4 seems to have got actually a fair bit of love throughout alternate arts in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. But just a couple like Lucario, you know, that's a fan favorite Pokemon. Maybe it could have been alongside Greninja in Twilight Masquerade as another special illustration rare. Even something like Toxicroak, Ash had one in the anime, didn't he? That's sort of when I stopped watching the anime a little bit, but I'm sure he had one, didn't he? I wouldn't say it's a fan favorite Pokemon, but it would be a cool one that could have picked up an illustration rare or a special illustration rare somewhere along the lines. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree? You don't have to, of course, but I guess my sentiment, and I've said this a long time about Scarlet and Violet, the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. No one's going to argue that. But I just feel they missed a couple of tricks. And you know what? Where we did see those Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4 Pokemon, you know, really coming to the forefront, look at the ones that have really shot up in value. It is still your Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4 Pokemon. Look at Groudon from Paradox Rift. That card has shot up in value. Look at Sleeping Raichu from Paldea Evolved. That card has shot up in value. Look at the Tyranitar as well from Paldea Evolved. You know, that has shot up in value. It is these fan favorite Pokemon that always seem to shoot up in value. And I just feel we've missed a trick in putting some of these as really strong special illustration rares that would have just bolstered up sets quite strongly, like Temporal Forces, for argument's sake. Though, like, why didn't we just include the OG? Yes, I know it's an introduction to the new era, but we could have had them side by side. What if we had the OG legendaries in there rather than the big giraffe with the lightning bolt around his head? Why didn't we have Raikou in there? Maybe we could have had them both. I don't know. Was that too many cards for the set? But you get my sentiment. I just feel we're missing a couple of banger chase cards from Scarlet and Violet to really keep it ticking along and really push those sets up. Maybe I'm being greedy. Maybe I'm wanting booster boxes to go up in price too much by having strong chase cards inside them. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just sharing some thoughts on how I thought it could have been improved. Get Gyarados a special illustration rare now, Pokemon Company, if you're listening. I'm Michael. This is Poke Catch everyone next time.